Hi, I'm Eugene, the founder of Faster Than 20.
And I'm Amy, the founder of Duende. We're here to explain how to use a tool we've created called the Goals and Success Spectrum. It's a really good way of getting super clear, specific, and aligned around the goals of any project you're working on, whether personal or professional, big or small, whether it's just you or involves a team.
In my work over the past 15 years helping groups collaborate more effectively, I've noticed that most groups are not higher performing because they do not have clarity about what they're trying to do and why. The success spectrum is a simple, powerful way to create that clarity.
We both use it on all of our projects. Many of our clients and partners have adopted it as well. Friends have used it for life planning, and we're hoping that you and many others will use and benefit from it.
Our focus in this video is on how to use this tool individually. Using it in groups is similar in principle, but more complex in practice, as most things involving groups are. The most important thing to remember is that the goals and success spectrum is not some mystical tool that will magically make all of your problems disappear. It's a simple way to practice the discipline of good goal setting. The more you practice with it, the better you'll get at it.
The best way to understand how the tool works is to experience it. For the next 30 minutes, we're going to walk you through the process of creating your own success spectrum.
We're going to explain each step, and we've also included time in this video for you to execute the steps. Keep in mind, you control the playback. So if you need extra time or if you need to go back to review a step, you can pause or rewind. You can even skip ahead, although we'd recommend that you use up the full time allotted for the different steps. Let's get started.
Let's do it. Take a moment to decide what project you want to work on. Start by labeling the project you're working on and the time span that you're thinking of. For example, in our case, we're looking at success for producing this video between May and October 2018.
Next, we want you to brainstorm what success looks like for your project at the end of your stated time span. For example, for our video project, one idea for success by October 2018 is that we've finished and published this video by July 1st. Another idea is that this video has been viewed 10,000 times by the end of October. For the next 5 minutes, fill out your ideas for your project on Stickies. One idea per sticky. Place them in the target column for now. You'll have the chance to move them later. For this first pass, it's all about quantity, not quality, so just keep writing for the full 5 minutes. If you've run out of ideas and there's still time left on the clock, try to keep going anyway. Be as specific as you can, but don't worry too much about perfection. You'll have multiple opportunities to review and refine your answers.
You should now have a bunch of stickies in or around your target column. Now it's time to move your stickies into the parts of the spectrum that make the most sense. There are 4 categories: failure, minimum, target, and epic. Failure is exactly what it sounds like. We'll fill that column in later, so you can ignore it for now. Minimum is your lowest bar for success. For your project to be considered a success at all, you should achieve every item in your minimum column. Target is the success that you're actually working toward. It should feel like a stretch, easy enough so that you should be able to accomplish some of the items, between 40 and 60%, but hard enough so that you shouldn't accomplish all of them. Epic is what your wildest version of success looks like. It should be within the realm of possibility, but not something you're aiming for in this iteration. Sometimes we use the epic column to capture items that might go into the target column of a future success spectrum. Now that you understand the categories, take the next 2 minutes to move stickies into the appropriate columns. Again, don't think too hard about this. You'll have the chance to revisit this later.
Now take a step back and look at your work. Notice where you have lots of stickies and where you have few or none. Notice what patterns are emerging. Once again, take 5 minutes to brainstorm what success looks like for your project. As before, you'll have the opportunity to move your stickies into the appropriate column later, so you can just put them in the target column for now. However, since you know what the columns mean now, if you'd like to put them in the desired column immediately, you can do that as well. Use the full 5 minutes. Once again, take a minute to move stickies into the appropriate columns if they're not already there.
Now we're going to take a moment to think about what failure might look like. This is helpful for the same reason it's helpful to get specific about success. Precision leads to better planning and also to more compassionate evaluation afterward. Take 5 minutes to consider what it would look like if, at the end of your time span, your project failed. Write your ideas on stickies, one per sticky, and place each sticky in the failure column. Try to be as specific as you can, but don't worry too much about perfection, as you'll have a chance to refine and revise these.
One reason it's helpful to articulate failure is that it enables you to gut check success. For example, with our video project, we have 100 views as minimum success and 0 views as failure. So what if we got 50 views? Would that be success or failure? One way to fix this gap might be to change our minimum success from 100 views to 1 view. However, upon further consideration, we might realize that the number of views is less important to us than whether or not it's useful for the people who watch it. So we might just get rid of that sticky entirely. This is a good example of how brainstorming, then reviewing and refining our spectrum helps us get clear about what's actually meaningful and important. Take 5 minutes to try to identify and close any gaps and inconsistencies like these that might be in your spectrum.
Now that you've had a chance to flesh out your spectrum, try to come up with 1 to 3 high-level goals for your project. They should help you tell the story about what you're trying to accomplish and why.
Congratulations! You have successfully created a success spectrum for your project. You can now use it to share what you're working on with others and to evaluate your project once it's done.
We offer several versions of the toolkit which you can purchase on the Duende website. For this video, we use the individual version of the toolkit. We also offer poster-sized versions, which are good for using with groups. We even have a Google Doc version for both digitally capturing and sharing your work with others over the internet.
You don't have to use any of these versions of the toolkit either. We often just use Stickies or a whiteboard to create an ad hoc success spectrum. Our toolkits are all in the public domain, meaning that you can use these however you want, with no need to even credit us. Although if you do credit us, we'd be delighted.
Whatever you do moving forward, we'd encourage you to practice, practice, practice. The more you use the toolkit, the better you'll get at defining success for your project and evaluating it afterward.
If you found this video useful, please like it below and share it with others.
We really hope you use the success spectrum and find it valuable. Please let us know if you do so that we can learn from your experiences.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye.